I am so excited to start this series of Stoic principles. So today I'm going to be covering two of the principles that I've learned, and there's a surprise twist at the end, so stay till the end. So the first Stoic principle of today is to be able to distinguish the good and the bad and the indifferent. What they mean by good is obviously virtue, doing the right thing. Bad will obviously be like dishonesty. Anything that's not virtuous, it's bad. And everything in between would be classified as neutral. So that includes wealth, health, reputation. All those things fall under neutral. And according to the Stoic principles, virtue is split into 4 different categories. We've got wisdom, justice, self-discipline, and courage. So based on the first principle we looked at, first of all, it's important to distinguish between the good, the bad, and the neutral. The Stoic men preached to practice misfortune. Ask, what could possibly go wrong? What is the worst that can happen in this scenario? What the Stoic men did was they mentally prepared themselves for this worst case scenario so that if it were to happen, they would have already been mentally prepared for it. So it wouldn't be a shock to their system. So it's basically just sort of desensitizing the body to the worst possible scenario. The reason why this is a very smart thing to do is because when something unfavorable is happening to you, your body's instinct is to protect yourself. That reaction is not always the appropriate reaction. But what these Stoic men did was they visualized what could potentially go wrong, and they experienced it in their thoughts. And because they've already experienced it, they've already exposed their body and their mind to that sort of scenario. If it actually happens, they will be prepared for it. The reason why I like this principle is because it addresses the reality that things can go both ways. Things don't always go the way we want it to go. And we would be crazy to think that we would face adversity in life, but we would be more crazy to think that we will never face adversity in life. The reason why I love this principle is because it gives that little reality check that things can go both ways, so it's better to be prepared for it than to shock your system. The thing is, I've always had this idea that when you prepare for the worst, you are subconsciously putting this idea in your head that the worst could potentially happen, and you are indirectly throwing that into the universe. I've always been the kind, since I was young, to never have a plan B. Have a plan A, stick to it. That was obviously to keep me driven, to focus on that one plan. One thing I failed to realize is that, life takes its own path. Things don't always go the way we plan. So now I was stuck in a dilemma. Preparing for the worst is a way to desensitize yourself, is to be indifferent to what could potentially come. But at the same time, when you think of the worst possible scenario, you are indirectly throwing that into the universe. And I was like, okay, so what do I do? Like, I'm literally stuck in this dilemma. The friend who told me, hey Pri, you have to understand the reality of life, and you have to, be prepared for the worst. Like, expect the best, but prepare for the worst. I was like, but I don't even want to think of the worst possible scenario that could happen, because then I might be contributing to the fact that it might manifest. Now this is where Pri comes in with a little twist. I don't know why I'm like this, I'm sorry guys. Wait, hold up, wait a second. Being able to differentiate the good, bad, and neutral, and imagining the worst possible thing that can happen. The only reason why I was scared to think of the worst possible scenario was because I perceived it as bad. But now, what if I perceive the worst possible scenario as neutral? For an example, I go for an interview. So the 2 outcomes of that interview is that I get the job or I don't get the job. So in this case, the worst possible thing that can potentially happen is I don't get the job. But what if I walk into the interview? So think about the fact that I won't get the job, but I am neutral towards the fact that I might not get this job. You are identifying the reality of what could potentially happen, but you're not perceiving it as a bad thing. This works in both ways, because For example, when you are feeling neutral towards that worst possible scenario, right now you won't have that fear that, oh, I might be physically manifesting this thought into something. Sometimes, because we have a backup plan, we don't give it 100% with our main plan. If you are detached from that worst possible scenario, so even if it happens, it's okay, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. When you walk into that interview, you would give it your 100%. Because the moment you're detached from that worst possible scenario, you eradicate the fear. You will walk into that interview with absolutely no fear. And that's exactly what you need to succeed. Because I was searching for the answers. I was never really satisfied with what I was hearing, because there was always this side of me that was saying, don't think about the worst possible scenario. But the Stoic principles, two separate principles, when you put them together, it just falls so beautifully. It's literally the tool that you need to eradicate fear from your life, and you would literally enter every room, every project that you start, anything that you want to do, you will enter it with no fear, because even the worst possible thing that can happen in that situation, you're neutral to it. Think about it, desensitize yourself, but it doesn't scare you. And that's exactly what you need to succeed in life. And I hope the best for you. I'll be diving into a lot more Stoic principles one by one. I'm still exploring the Stoic principles. But I really hope this episode helped you guys in some way or another. I hope you have a great day. Go conquer all your fears and go succeed in life. I'll see you soon.